The cop car pulled up alongside him, but Walter Carr didn't slow down. His legs burned, lungs heaving with each ragged breath, sweat soaking through his jacket and dripping from his hair. Every step was agony, his sneakers pounding against the asphalt, but turning back wasn't an option. 10 miles stretched ahead, a long, unforgiving path, winding through dark streets and quiet neighborhoods. The night was still, almost eerily so, except for the rhythmic crunch of gravel beneath his worn shoes. Streetlights flickered intermittently, casting jagged shadows that danced like specters along the pavement. Every shadow seemed to taunt him, whispering doubts he could not afford to entertain. Walter had made a promise to himself and to his mother, a promise that failure was not an option. He glanced at his watch. Time was slipping, and every second felt like a countdown. Every step mattered. Every breath mattered. Walter's life had already been shaped by tragedy. He had moved to Homewood, Alabama, with his mother after Hurricane Katrina devastated their home, leaving nothing but rubble, despair, and the weight of rebuilding a life from scratch. For most, such loss would have been overwhelming, paralyzing. But Walter had learned early that life waits for no one. You either fight for your future, or life moves on without you. He had vowed to his mother that he would protect her, provide for her, and ensure they would never face such vulnerability again. That vow burned in his chest, stronger than exhaustion, stronger than fear. When Walter learned about the job opening at Bellhops, a moving company 20 miles away, he saw more than employment. He saw a lifeline, a chance to contribute, to take control of his future, and to help his mother regain stability. He drove to the office, applied in person, and by luck or fate was offered an interview immediately. He shook hands with the manager and agreed to start the very next day. Everything seemed aligned, the path to a better life visible before him. But life, as it often does, intervened with a cruel twist. Just a few feet from his driveway, his old car sputtered violently, shuddered, and died. Smoke poured from the hood, twisting into the cold night air like a warning, a symbol of everything threatening to go wrong. Panic surged in Walter's chest. Of all nights, of all hours, why now? He opened the hood and stared helplessly at the engine, willing it to start, willing it to function. But it was done. His car, his only means of transportation, had failed him at the worst possible time. He considered calling the manager, explaining, canceling, but the thought of failure wasn't an option. Not for him, not now. His mother was depending on him. And then, in a moment of clarity, he made a decision. He would walk 20 miles through the night, alone, with nothing but determination and sheer willpower. The thought was terrifying. Most would have laughed at the idea, but Walter was not most people. Midnight rolled around, and he set off, sneakers laced tight, jacket zipped, determination burning brighter than fear. The streets were silent, broken only by the occasional rustle of a stray animal or the hum of a distant car. Cold air bit at his skin, seeping into his muscles, chilling him to the bone. Each step was a test of endurance, every mile a challenge to his resolve. His legs ached with every movement, his feet blistered, and sweat ran down his body, stinging his eyes and soaking his clothes. And yet, he moved forward, relentlessly, one step, then another. The night offered no comfort. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the pavement, flickering in the dim glow of streetlights. The darkness seemed alive, whispering temptations to rest, to give in, to turn back. But Walter ignored them. He had a purpose, a mission far greater than himself. Thoughts of his mother's face, the precarious home, the bills piling up, the fragile sense of security, they all pressed on his mind, fueling his persistence, one foot in front of the other. Just keep moving. By the halfway mark, his body was in revolt, legs shaking uncontrollably, chest burning, lungs gasping for oxygen. Walter felt the weight of the night crushing him. Sweat poured from his body, soaking his shirt, running into his eyes, blinding him temporarily. Each step was agony. Every nerve screamed for relief. His shoes rubbed painfully against his raw skin, forming blisters that throbbed with every stride. And yet, he pressed on. He imagined his mother waking, worried, counting on him to make it, to succeed. One step, then another, then another. Then, a flash of blue lights appeared behind him. At first he barely noticed it, lost in his own struggle. But the car drew closer, flashing lights and sounding its siren. Officer Sean Gray rolled down his window, face a mixture of suspicion and fatigue. "Where are you rushing off to, buddy?" he asked. Walter, gasping, tried to explain. His car had broken down. He had no money. He had to get to work. His mother needed him. The officer listened silently, astonished. Years of patrol had shown him strange events, but nothing like this. A young man, exhausted, walking miles alone in the dead of night, driven by sheer will and love. Without another word, he motioned for Walter to get into the car. Together they drove the remaining miles in silence. The hum of the tires, the faint flicker of passing streetlights, the quiet night, it all seemed to amplify Walter's exhaustion and relief simultaneously. When the house finally appeared on the horizon, relief crashed over him like a tidal wave. Against all odds, through pain and doubt, he had made it. Officer Gray escorted him to the door and explained his journey to the homeowner, Jenny Hayden Lamy, who stood stunned, awestruck by the sheer determination she was witnessing. Walter joined the bellhop's crew and worked tirelessly that day. Every box lifted, every piece of furniture carried, reflected his extraordinary willpower. He was exhausted, yes, but he refused to stop. Jenny shared the story on Facebook, and it went viral almost immediately. Donations for a GoFundMe to repair his car, initially set at $2,000, surged to over $32,000 in mere hours. People from across the nation were inspired, touched by the young man's resolve and humility. The story even reached Bellhop's CEO Luke Markland. Deeply moved, he drove from Tennessee to meet Walter in person. He presented Walter with a brand new car, a symbol of recognition for his determination and work ethic. Walter, overwhelmed by emotion, wept openly, unable to fully process the kindness he was receiving. Generosity, recognition, and community support collided in a way that he had never experienced. Social media erupted. #BlackWalter began trending. Commenters marveled at his perseverance, imagining the countless lonely, exhausting miles he walked, the moments of doubt he surely endured, yet still pressing forward. People everywhere were inspired by the simple, powerful story of determination, humility, and resilience. Yet Walter remained humble. "I just walked," he said simply. But what he accomplished was monumental. He had walked not just physically but through doubt, fear, exhaustion, and adversity. He had walked toward hope, toward a future he was determined to claim, and toward proving that human resilience can overcome any obstacle. He dreams of becoming a Marine, and after that midnight trek, it is undeniable that Walter Carr is capable of achieving anything he sets his mind to. His story reminds us all that courage, determination, and persistence can outshine fear and darkness. Walter didn't just walk 20 miles, he became a symbol of resilience, determination, and hope. Every step he took was a testament to perseverance. Every mile was proof that the human spirit can rise above adversity. As the world reflects on his story, one thing is clear. Sometimes, extraordinary acts of bravery are not loud or heroic in the traditional sense. They are quiet, relentless, and unwavering. One step, then another, then another. Walter Carr proved that when life pushes you to the edge, all it takes is one determined step to change everything. And through his actions, he inspired not only his mother, his community, and his co-workers but thousands around the world, showing that determination, heart, and resilience can conquer even the darkest nights. Walter Carr's journey will be remembered, not for the distance he walked alone in the night, but for the courage, selflessness, and persistence he carried in every step. His story reminds us that even the most impossible obstacles can be overcome, that every step forward, no matter how painful, can lead to a brighter, better tomorrow.